When I was a student in Dunedin, I used to represent the students at the committee meetings of the Dunedin branch of the NZSP. And when I came up to Wellington for the 6 months, I think I attended 1 or 2 meetings while I was still a student of the NZSP Wellington branch. And the moment I was qualified, the next year, I immediately joined the society. To me, I considered physiotherapy was going to be a profession for me. And all professions, if you're a lawyer, you join the Law Society. If you're a doctor, you join the BMA. And I'm a physio, so I'm joining the Physiotherapy Association. And it's unforgivable for anybody coming through as a physiotherapist not to join their association. And I've spoken about this all around the world since, but most people say, well, what's it do for me? And the words of John F. Kennedy, it's not what it does for me, but if you're not happy with your society, get in, become a member, become a committee member, and do something. Don't criticise, do something. So I joined the branch straight away in 1954, and that's when I qualified, and from 1955 to 67 I was a member of that branch, and I was secretary for 2 years and branch president for 2 years. In 1966 I was conference chairman for the biennial national conference held in Wellington, and that was interesting because I was responsible for arranging a dinner. And the dinner was where the cable car runs up in Wellington, up to Kelburn. And we used the restaurant on top. And in those days, you couldn't have liquor at a dinner unless you had special permission. And so I, as secretary, had to apply for a licence to dispense liquor. And this licence was issued to me, so we were able to supply at our dinner wine. And the wine came in flagons, so it wasn't very posh wine. But we had a rosé and we had an ordinary white wine. And it was quite interesting. Halfway through the evening, a police sergeant turns up and asks for me, and I was terribly nervous about this. What have I done? Oh, good heavens, someone's had an accident. And so I left the room where everyone was dining, and the police sergeant said, "Are you Mr. Mulligan?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I'm just checking up. You have a licence here tonight, and it terminates at 12 o'clock, and I'm making sure you were present. Have a nice night," and off he goes. And would you believe at midnight, he turns up again to make sure no one was still drinking and no more drink was being dispensed. And would you believe 3 years ago we had our national conference and had dinner at the same venue. So I told that story at that venue, how many years before of course we had wine for the first time, and that was a novelty. And of course these days wine just flows at these functions. But no, I think that anybody that belongs to any profession, if your profession's worthwhile, your career's worthwhile, you better join the society. And even in America, I tell people they should, and I don't want to know who is, because if I knew somebody in the class was not a member of the APTA, I'd probably be very rude to them. And I don't want to be rude to them, so I don't want to know. I don't want to know. But I feel I should comment. In the 1970s, I was on the salaries committee for the society, and I was on that for 3 years. And they thought it might be a good move when they were asking for salary increases that I was supporting that. A private practitioner was supporting his colleagues in the hospital. And questions would be asked of me, what would your income be compared with and I was reluctant to give this, but I could say substantially more. And that was one of the reasons. But another interesting thing was that we decided to seek professional help on one occasion. So we asked the 2 members of the engineers union for some advice when making a salaries claim. And these 2 guys, they were really, really unionists. And they sat down and they said, "Oh, how much money do you want?" And we said, "Well, we can justify an increase of 4%. "Well, you don't ask for 4%, you ask for 8%. He said, "Because every time you go to any salaries negotiation, they will always beat you down. So if you start at 4%, you will start at 8%. And we said, "But we can't justify it." "Yes, you can. You just use the same arguments for 8% that you use for 4%. And that was very good advice. So they were worth consulting. Yes, I enjoyed my time in different committees of the society.